Welcome back to episode 4 of Day One Energy. Thank you for coming along. We have an incredible guest today, Alex Tincknell. Thank you so much for being here. Alex Tincknell is a good friend, business mentor, the principal of the agency that I contract to. Alex, we already know quite a lot about you, but it'll be an awesome story for these guys to hear. I think let's just get straight into it. First off, let's start at day one. So before the business, before everything, let's go back to when you were living down the coast.
Yep. Okay. Thanks for having me. So living down the coast, I was 20. I was just finishing uni, doing a business law degree. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do. But I wanted to be a professional rugby player, but had 2 shoulders that needed surgery, so that wasn't going to work out. So I joined my family's business, and fortunately I had that opportunity. My dad had just turned 60, had prostate cancer, and felt that I wanted to spend more time with my family. So I joined his business. He's got multiple businesses, but he was thinking of actually shutting it down. And I said, well, I don't think you should. I think we could do something here. And he had probably bigger plans for me, but I convinced him to let me into the business, and spent 8 years with him in that business. It was fantastic. Learnt a lot. That we did contracts for the local council, and I was given the opportunity to tender for a lot of work. And in that time, probably I won over $12 million worth of tenders with the council, which sustained that business for a long period of time. It's still running today. I'm no longer there. Yeah, so that was, if you want to go back to living at the Gold Coast at 20, that's a long way back, yeah.
That's awesome. So that's obviously pre-business. And for those who don't know, Alex started Elders Redlands with no experience in real estate at all. Yep, that is just a massive step to start a business knowing absolutely nothing. So I think, what made you take that step? Like, why did you say, well, let's just give it a crack?
So even though I had no experience selling property or managing property, in the family business, I started acquiring investment property. So bought 3 investment properties. That led me to buying my own house. The whole time I was dealing with real estate agents, I was getting terrible service. And, in business, ultimately, our goal is to provide a solution to a problem, to find a niche and to deliver a service to it. And I was giving amazing service in a business which was grass cutting on a big scale. And I thought, if I could apply the principles of good business, of good service to real estate, surely we could do okay. So basically that gave me the confidence. I knew how to buy property. I had bought below market value. I felt like I knew enough about the industry that I could do it. I didn't want to work for anyone else. I didn't want to go and make coffee for some top agent. I'm only laughing because 6 months after opening my business, I met Jordan. He was door knocking on houses that I had for sale. and luckily I was nice to him, because it's funny how the world comes around.
Yeah, well, that was a funny story. It was 7:30 at night. We were both in the office, and I called you and I said, hey mate, look, you've got this property on the market. I've got someone who's really interested. Yeah. I said, where's the floor plan? You don't have a floor plan. He goes, hold on, I'll draw one up. Yeah. And the truth, and he did. He drew it up.
And the truth of that story is that I was about 5 months into the business, had like one listing, and that listing I'd literally told the owner I'd cover the cost of marketing, I'd do dirt cheap commission, just did what it took to get that bit of business, and thought, how's this, Ray White agent at the time, like, are you kidding me, knocking on the doors of my property? But I also thought to myself, always think long term, play the long game. And I thought, you know what, he's new, he's who he's working for has probably told him to knock on the door, and maybe he'll come and work with me one day. So I'm gonna hold it together. And even though I'm ready to go home, I'm exhausted. On paint, I drew that floor plan, flicked it over to you, and nothing came of it. Nothing came of it. But here we are, nearly 5 years later. So
well, talk us through. So we've just jumped in timeline a tad there, where Jordan, when you initially met Jordan, talk us through when you first started your business. Until the first property you sold, and how hard it's been to finally build momentum in a very, very tough industry, and to get to the place you are now while maintaining Day One Energy.
Really good question. So I think for me, sorry, that's my phone going off. I'm a real estate agent. In day one, so I signed a franchise agreement. I bought my commercial office, paid $340,000 for it. I just went all in, but I kept operating in the family business, which was my income. So I didn't kill that income. So I would turn up to that business at 6 a.m, kick off my 25 staff, do my reports, talk to council, do my emails, and I'd turn up to elders at probably 9:30, 10, and I worked till 6, 7 p.m. So that was, but very day one. So the day we opened, I organised an event. We'd done a fit out of the office. I'd used pretty much every dollar I had in savings to cover the cost of purchasing in the fit out, and I needed business. So I invited everyone I knew to come to the launch, and at my launch, an old family neighbour came to the launch and basically said, "Hey, I've got a couple properties, give me a good deal, good commission, and I'll help you get started." So but if I didn't open the business, if I didn't do that launch party, I might not have met that person. It took me 3 months. I did hour-long Saturday, Sunday open homes. I just thought I'll just do as much as I'll outwork anyone, And I didn't sell one of them, and I sold the other. And it took me about 5 months before the first commission check came in. And I think it was about $11,000. And I thought, wow, that's heaps of money for the work. But that was sort of my entry, and it was so slow. And so maintaining motivation was incredibly hard because I was doing 12, 13 hours a day, and I was going through a learning period. I was trying to learn how to sell. I was trying to learn how to sell marketing to owners. I was trying to learn how to sell myself when I had no proof. I had no evidence. I had no proof of concept. I didn't have reviews yet. I had no reputation. My circle was small. My network was small. So I had all these odds against me, and I think the way I maintained my day one energy was I just had this inner conviction that if anyone could do it, it was me, and that at the end of the day, everything I needed, I had. I just had to get it out of myself. And I maintained that sense of, confidence internally, and as hard as it got, I said, if anyone can get out of this, it's me. If anyone can get the next listing, it's me. And I looked at the market I was in, which is one of the toughest probably in Australia. We have some of the top agencies, the top agents who do massive volume of sales, do give excellent service in some areas. And I thought, how do I compete? And I just had this metaphor in my head that put me in the ring with anyone, and I will come out. I won't leave until I've made my mark. I've made my point. I've given it everything I've got. I'm prepared to just go to the ends of the earth to succeed in doing this. And every time a challenge came my way, and I just, you question, why am I doing this? I came back to my core belief of, no, if anyone can do it, it's me. So I have to succeed.
Yeah, wow, that's just about one of the best answers we've had.
And that's such a good mindset to have. I think we've said it a few times. You almost have to be delusional to be successful in business.
Everything starts in the head. It's not what you do or who you know or what you say. It's the vision you imprint in your mind. And, if you want to get started or you've got this big idea, it's taking that vision and then relentlessly pursuing it until you've got it. Whether even you might get the thing you want, and you get there and you realise, maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be, but just to get there, that's what you have to do. It's got to start in the head. You've got to convince yourself completely without any ounce of doubt that, that's what you want, because the doubts will come in the path. If you're doing it the right way, if should you do this or do that, or talk to this person, or should you spend money here, or, what should I leave my job? Or all these doubts come, but don't have doubt in, the goal, the vision of where you want to be.
Confidence is key.
Yeah.
Confidence is key. And it's paid off. The big hours, that mindset, it's paid off. Like, you've now got an award-winning office with award-winning agents. How long did it actually take for you to get that first award?
Look, we got awards the first year, for marketing actually, and digital presence and that. And awards are good. The reality is I don't put a lot of what's the word for it? Value on them, because at the end of the day, the reward is the business itself. The reward is the clients. The reward is the cash flow. The reward is the opportunities that come with being in business. The rewards are good, but I didn't set out to become an award-winning office. I came out to be the best possible office we could be, and to give back to the community a level of service they haven't currently experienced. And that is the reward. The 5-star reviews is the reward. When people knock on our door, when they send flowers, chocolates, and say, wow, thank you so much, we've never experienced an agency like that, that's me going, okay, this is my vision coming to life.
So roping back now, when the business really started to pick up some momentum and you started expanding and you started building a team, Jordan, talk to me about your process in doing that, because it's a scary jump to go from you to, all right, I need to start trusting people with doing certain tasks, and you're paying them good money and you hope to get a return on that. So talk about the expansion of the team, I think, and all that.
The funny thing is I don't view my momentum anywhere near where I would like it to be. It's momentum from an external perception is that, wow, they're starting to get listings now. They've obviously got a good, rent roll moving along. They're renting properties and seem to have a good team. That's external perception. My internal perception is I'm so far from where I want to be. That's, but that's not a terrible thing. What was your question?
How did you, as your business grew, how did your team grow around it? How did you make that leap into the expansion?
Growing the team's hardest part. So hard. People is everything. And in the early days, I had a couple of the wrong people because I didn't 100% know what I was looking for. I just had a general idea. But you need to make those mistakes to then determine what you need. A fantastic person, your dad, even he brought it up. There's a great book. I can't remember the name. Lockie's dad. You need the right people on the bus. So true. And the people I've got now are fantastic, and finding them is hard, but having a vision of what you need them for, why you're bringing them on, is really, really important. Because if you just think you need people for the sake of having people, you're just paying out wages to have someone there, a body on a seat. You need to know what you want them for and how they're going to help you grow your business. So for an example, when Jordan joined, I didn't want someone as part of my team at that time. I wanted an agent who would go on a contract, who'd go out and sell property, be their own business, but was prepared to represent the brand of our office and utilise the resources I'd made available. And so that's why eventually when Jordan joined us, for me it was great, because he was ready. That was what he was ready for. I sort of talked him into it, but
ready's a stretch.
Yeah. but the reality is each person in my business, I like to think that I've built a position for them that will help the whole business move forward. So yeah.
Wow. You sounded like as if you went a bit red there, Geordie.
Yeah. It was a big step.
Yeah.
It was a big step.
Jumping into business in this sense is a big step.
It was probably 12 months in the making, realistically.
Full disclosure, I actually told Jordan to stay where he was for 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. 12 months before I started here, I went to Alex. I said, dude, I'm not happy. I'm ready to leave. Have you got a job for me? And he said, I don't think you're done where you are. You need to stay. But we both knew when I was ready. And it's been so good since. And the biggest thing I think that Alex can provide a team is just the wealth of knowledge around business. And specifically, there's been so many times that I've come to you gone, hey, someone's just done this, legally, how do I go about it?
That's just experience. And what do you think your listeners would find in value listening to something that I could offer?
Something that you could offer? I think you have a powerful story. A powerful story in the sense of you had a lot when you were young, but you went out on your own and you were driving for your own success, and you still are driving for your own success. Now, what you just said then was you still want to push yourself harder and harder and harder, and you feel like you're still not where you want to be, but we look at you in the position you are and go, wow, you are so much further. You are where I want to be. So it's I think businesses, and this is probably something that I think every business owner could relate to, is it's this never-ending spectrum of when am I going to be happy? Where is success? So where is success for you? Where do you draw your line at success?
Yeah, it's about perception. So for me, everyone's definition of success is different, but you need to balance, because my view is that you need to look back. You need to be happy with your progress. You need to find the joy in your business, and you need to find the things that you're grateful for, that you're moving forward. Because if you don't look for anything good, it's demotivating. But in the same sentence, being uncomfortable is what drives you to make changes. So you've got to find the things wrong. You've got to be self-critical. You've got to constantly analyze yourself and ask yourself, are you doing enough? Could you be doing more? Are you doing it the right way? Is this the best path? Am I getting the best mentors? Am I making the best decisions? Am I as a person growing? So, the perception of success is always elusive, but it's the journey itself, which is, such a, it's a common thing that everyone says, but it is actually true. Like, you need to be enjoying your path. So for me, question I often ask myself, and I've done this since I was 20, is, am I happy with what I'm doing with my life today? And if I had 1 year left, would I actually change? And if I think to myself, oh, what am I doing with my life? For a split second, that makes me go, oh, we need to make some big changes. Which is rare, because I kind of just keep moving towards the things that I want, the things that I think are going to bring me what I'm looking for. Not necessarily happiness, but the things that I want, my vision of my goals. It's moving towards them, yeah. But in terms of, what is success to me, which is different to you, my definition of success is obviously achieving my big goals, and taking my family with me in that process, being fit and healthy. Some people in business, it's just business. It's just how much money can you make. I want a happy team. I want good culture. I do want the big things, the bigger house, the bigger car. I think a lot of young men want that, but I want the whole picture. I want my kids to be happy. I want them to know me and me to be a part of their life, and to have an amazing relationship, with my wife, and build the business in the process. I don't want to give anything up. For me, I think if you've built a enormously successful business, but you have a raging drug addiction, or you're really heavily overweight, that you're missing a part of the picture. For me, maybe you're okay with that, but for me, that's not what I want.
So essentially, balance.
Yeah, balance, but then still a level of success that is hard to obtain, because anything worth having never comes easy.
Yeah, wow.
I think that really leads into the next question, is balance. You mentioned, you've got your family, your kids, your wife.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have got a business at the moment, are looking to start a business, and they're scared of all the hours they've got to put in because they've got that family at home. How have you balanced that?
How bad do you want it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is my obligation, it is my duty of care to succeed in business for my family. I'm doing it for them and for myself. Ultimately, you need to be doing things for yourself, but the hours that need to be put in, there's no, and this is a big difference between, excuse my French, but job mentality. In a job, you look at the clock, 9 to 5. You put in, you clock off, you go home. In business, you never clock off. You are thinking about business 24/7. The minute you wake up, you check your emails. The minute you go to sleep, you're thinking about all the things you haven't done. Doesn't matter if you did 1,000 things that day and you had a cracking, successful day. You think, oh, did I call that person back? So that's that in business. If you're not prepared to have that life, then maybe getting a more, you see, some people would see a normal job as more secure. I don't have that opinion. I've read the books. I've read that I want to be my own boss. I want to have control over my life. I don't want anyone to be able to sack me. So for me, the hours are non-negotiable, and it's about time. But ultimately, the more time you put in, the greater the reward is. Whereas if you're in a paid role, unless it's a commission like sales, more time doesn't necessarily equal more money. So it just depends. It depends what you want. But if you're in a commission role, then ultimately working before 9 and after 5 is going to make you the bigger money. So, it's one of those things.
Yeah, and the world wouldn't be able to operate if everyone ran a business.
True. 100%.
Some people
100%.
are meant to be employees, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And that again is back to definitions of success.
Exactly.
Some people might, they might drive trains for a living and love driving trains. That's fine. And then they go home, they clock off, they spend time with their family, and they're the best dad in the world. In business, you can only have so much balance. Like, to me, obviously my family comes first. Health is right up there as well. But sometimes you go through cycles or phases in your business where business comes first. You need to sort out things. You need to move your business forward. You need to get out of the place you're in into the next phase. And if you persist, you can get yourself to a place where the time starts to come back to you. You have a little bit more freedom. But initially, when we're talking about day one energy, you don't have much time or balance for other things. You've got to commit to it.
Well, speaking of sacrifice, we had whispers of a story that when your daughter was born in the hospital, you and your wife had to rip out the good old computer and sign off on a deal. What happened there?
Yeah, I did. I had a contract falling over. I had another buyer come through the property on the Saturday. Mary was born 8:30 Monday morning. By 5:30 Monday afternoon, I'd changed over to a new buyer and sewed up that deal. So yeah, from the hospital. And I checked with Taylor, and I'm lucky I got a supportive wife. But I said, hey, like, I need to. This deal's about to fall over. I've got a buyer there that could snap it up. Like, and she's like, go and get it done. Cradling our new baby in this.
That's it. Always on the clock.
Yeah.
Always on the clock, waiting for that phone to ring.
Yep.
Well, 100%. We talked about where you started, how you've grown, and how you've maintained day one energy the entire time. Where are you now?
Where am I now? I turned 32 this year. Stop it. Where am I now? I'm about to renew my franchise agreement. So I've done 5 years of this business, and in the first 5 years, I've really looked at the whole thing as like doing a master's degree. I actually went and sat down to consider doing an MBA because I do have a business law degree, and I really thought, you know what, I'm going to invest this time, energy, and effort into building something, and that turned out to be Elders. And I think in the 5 years, I've made heaps of mistakes, but I've always fixed them up. I've always held my integrity, held my reputation, and learnt non-stop. Learned a lot more than I earned. I've invested so much money into this business. So where I'm at right now is I'm excited because I'm looking at the next 5 years, and I've got this fantastic platform, this business that now has a good reputation, good culture, good staff, good, an incredible foundation to really launch. So, you say that, it's at a good place now. And I'm like, well, wait, watch where we're going to be. You know what I mean? Because I can feel I'm really starting to come into my own, and that I always kind of look back and go, oh, that was good. Everything I did there was good. But I'm just learning. I'm about to really take off, whether I do or don't. That's just the mentality because it's much more exciting, and you put more energy and you feel better, I love doing challenges because it's like, I'm starting this challenge and for my health, and or my business, and I like to go, where am I going to be in 12 weeks? Like, imagine if I did all this work, and I love that delayed reward. You know what I mean? So that sense of working really, really, really hard and then getting a result. And in business, you have to be okay with really long-term delayed satisfaction, delayed results, because you got to lay down so many bricks. You got to put in so much groundwork before you actually start to get to see the good stuff come back.
It takes so much time, and you just got to keep telling yourself, if I keep doing this, I'll make it. If I keep doing this, I will get there.
Yep.
I will get there.
That's you and I right now.
100%.
And you know what? When you do get to where you want to be, you'll keep telling yourself that, because the reality is you just got to keep resetting and going again. Yeah. And, when you get a little bit burnt out, I learnt this saying once, and it was, when your car starts to get a bit worn out, a bit tired, and the wheels need to get changed and you're low on fuel, do you just, like, pack it in? Do you light it on fire? Do you know what I mean? Do you just get rid of it? No, you just put new tyres on it. Put some fuel in the tank, keep going. You now feel like you got a fresh car, and you got to apply that to yourself. So if you need that pick me up, if you want that day one energy, we'll invest back in yourself. The number one thing is investing in yourself.
Yeah, your mind is your greatest asset.
Yep.
Mind and body.
Yep, and invest in it
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, sure.
We did a post through the week giving a little bit of an outline on who you were, obviously without saying your name. And we got quite a few questions that came through. So I thought it would be really cool to run through them. So the first question is, I'd love to know how you know it is time to move on from the traditional day job to fully commit to the next step. Obviously, it's subjective for everyone, but when was the moment where you went, I need to start a business?
A few different questions there. For me, starting a business wasn't like an option. It was like the only way. Because I grew up in a family of business owners, to me, going and getting a job was never even something on my radar. And that's just for me. I know that a lot of people don't have that option. So I'm probably not the best person to comment on when is the best time to go from your job into business, because I pretty much was born into it. But from a logical perspective, I think you need a bit of a platform, and I think that you need to sort of lean into it. You need to start, creating opportunities. So if there's a particular business you want to start, if you can start it and continue working in your day job, perfect. Continue earning money, grow your knowledge in that space. Even for me with Elders, I was buying property, I had rentals, I was learning about this space. Grow your passion for that thing. And then if you can start to earn money from it, and you can try and replace your income with your day job, you'll reach a point where you go, I could be earning more money in this business, but I'm lacking time. I'm spending all this time in my day job. So I need to cut that cord. And I had to do it myself personally with the family business. I did 3 years of 12 plus hours a day in 2 businesses, and realised that I was kind of giving a 60% to each business, which was 120% overall, but neither was getting 100. And I made a decision that I had to cut the cord. I had to leave my family business. And it was a bit of a moment where there's that saying where, to take the island, you've got to burn the boats. And being in my family business was like my burning boats moment. I have to leave this, even though it's stable, it's safe, I'm so well secure. But if I really want to make this real estate work, I've got to just give it 1,000%. And, that was the right decision for me at that time. If someone's in a job and they're thinking, I really want to go out and start this business, part of me wants to say, well, just start. But the reality is set yourself up. Get yourself in a position that you can really give it a good crack. Otherwise, you'll start, you'll fail, and then you'll say, oh, that's why I failed.
Yeah. I mean, you actually just answered
all of them.
All of them.
That's most scary to
so what were, I suppose, you kind of went into it a little bit there, but what were the first steps you took to basically, it says here, turning your dreams into reality to start the business you want. So what was the first steps you took to start the business?
The vision. Built the vision in my mind.
Yeah.
Once you have a vision of what you want, you can start moving towards it. It's that simple. If you don't have a clear vision, then you kind of go nowhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to picture what it is and define it, write it down, obsess over it.
These two are fairly similar, and I think you answered them in the first question. So first one is, what fears had to be overcome leaving an already safe and thriving business to start a fresh one off the ground?
Yeah. One thing is, you shouldn't have any fear in yourself. Trust yourself, you know what I mean? Have that self-confidence, that inner conviction, which I think I mentioned earlier. The fears are around the tasks, and the what ifs and the what if this happens and all that, You're never going to get rid of that. You know what I mean? You've just got to pick yourself up and do it, And if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. If you've got the vision there, if you don't really truly want it, then you'll hold back and you'll make excuses and you won't do it. It's like anything in life. If you really, really want it, you'll find a way. So if you have the vision, you'll start to figure out the way and you'll just start to do it. And those fears that start rolling in, you just got to confront them. And that's where I say it starts in the mind. If your story is that, well, I'd really like to start this business, but I don't have enough money right now, and also, what will people think, and what if I fail, and all this sort of stuff. You've got to redevelop that story, but you've got to change it to, what if I did succeed? What if I made it? What if the goal came to life? And what would people think?
Yeah, it's all in the story you tell yourself.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened when I first started in real estate, door knocking.
Yeah.
Door knocking. I was so nervous, knocking on random people's doors. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. And I kept telling myself, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
The second I said, well, actually, I do want to do this, because do you know what? If I get a listing, if I get someone's details, that's money in the bank.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
It's opportunity. You know, it's a chance to succeed. So I did it, and it was constantly knocking on doors all day, every day for 6 months straight.
Yeah. Your actions will align with your mentality. So if you believe in your vision, then you will do the things to achieve it. If you kind of half guess it, if you're not really sure, you're like, oh, this is the vision, but you know, you won't do the things. Yeah. You got to be 1,000% for it. You got to feel it, an inner conviction, and that comes from, you know, genuinely wanting it and genuinely associating the task needed to be done with achieving the goal. So if you believe that if I do A, B, C, D, this will get the goal, then you'll do them. If you go, oh, I'll do A, B, C, D, but D's kind of, I don't really need to do it. You know, you won't. You'll let it, you know, just hang. And so everything you do, you need to truly believe it's necessary to succeed. And sometimes some things you talk yourself out of because of your beliefs. So then you need to rewire your beliefs. That's the beauty of our brain. We can rewire it and come up with a story to explain to ourselves why we have to do that thing to get the goal we want. And usually those are the aha moments in our business when we're not getting what we want, and we can go, why aren't we getting it? Oh, because we weren't doing that thing. And then but if I do that thing, then I might get my goal. So then we start doing it because it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. That's why I had to do that thing. And then we start doing it, and then we start getting success. So the faster you realize that once we know what we need to do and wire our brain to say, doing these things will get this goal, follow the process. You're aligned with doing these things to get your goal, you start moving forward.
I love it.
Love it too.
How do you decide when the perfect time to pivot is if a previously successful strategy is still successful but not as successful as it used to be?
Pretty, if something's working, keep doing it. Why do you need to pivot? Can't we just continue doing this successful thing and then parallel to that, try the other strategy that we're thinking of doing? It depends on the situation, depends what we're applying this to. I think, pivoting in business is probably should really more depend on what the market you're chasing. So if your target market suddenly has gone off the product or the service that you're selling or distributing, then you might need to pivot to chase the market. But if it's still successful, just not as successful, then maybe that is a sign that the market itself is changing. That's why it's not working. Maybe there's more competitors. Read into it, What is the strategy and why did that strategy work? Can we take the core of it, apply it to something else? So I know there's a million different things you can talk about with pivoting in business.
That's good. I mean, there's lots of other steps to take before making the pivot.
Yeah. Good story on not pivoting too soon. Henry Ford, who's obviously built the motor car, lots and lots of people advised him, oh, you need to make your cars better. You need to change the colour and make them faster. And they're too noisy and they're too ugly. And he said, no, just keep selling them, keep pumping them out. And he built, I think by the time he died, a $200 billion fortune. Yeah. But he said, no, this is working. Why change it? He didn't listen to anyone. And everyone was telling him. And the market did change. And eventually it did slow down and he stopped selling as many cars and there was more competitors. But in the meantime, he made a ton of money. So always, if something is working, just, sometimes you need to let it run, Yeah. And then if it's running well, build something next to it.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think this question was probably my favourite. It's a really good one. How do you overcome the fear of taking that first crucial step into becoming an entrepreneur or a business owner? And what are some of the best practices for adjusting to change when it is required? It's a big one. There's a couple of parts.
Can you break that down?
Yeah. So the first one is, how do you overcome the fear of taking the first crucial step into becoming an entrepreneur or a business owner?
Ask yourself how bad, do you want the outcome, the goal? Because if you don't want it that bad, then you probably won't overcome the fear. So knowing how good it would be, envisioning, you know, what it would be like if it succeeded, you know, and what that looks like. That'll usually drive you to say, okay, where I'm at, I'm uncomfortable with, and I want to make the change.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about attacking the fear directly and saying, oh, but what if I don't have enough money to pay my bills? It's more about saying, okay, is the vision worth going after? Is it the vision worth suffering for and persisting? If you feel that's a yes, then the feels kind of subside. Do you know what I mean? It'll force you to go and just attack it.
Yeah, I think, again, it's all on that mindset. Like, if you keep asking yourself, well, what happens if I don't succeed, then you're never going to do it. But if you start asking yourself, what happens if I do succeed, then you're probably going to make that step and get pretty excited about what could happen if you do make it. And
the other one as well, which is from my experience, is sometimes you just need to corner yourself. You need to back yourself against the wall, take the step, even without the knowledge, even without the things that you feel like you need, and just let it come to you and just start fighting, start swinging, like, and you'll learn, you know. It's but what you'll find out about yourself, if you've got what it takes, is that when you start, you'll either make it or you'll give up and have to go back to what you were doing. But if you have the ability to just hang in, never give up, keep moving forward, growing, learning, then that's, you know, the fears are always there. I've got fears. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got fears, but it's about, you know, put them to the side, move forward, get shit done.
You always know how to answer questions.
I heard this quote the other day, which takes on after that, but it says, how hard and big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?
Yeah, that's a good one.
How hard would you do it? You would dream biggest things, because you know if you could do it and you can dream it, then it's going to happen. You do it, right?
Yeah.
So have that same mindset and put it into your life and go, I can't lose in this situation because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop until I do it.
Good to use those as like strategies to remind yourself of where you're at with your situation and you know, change your perception of a circumstances or event and your perception of a problem, you know what I mean? So you might be using fear to stop you from taking that leap in business, you know, whether it's going for more customers or hiring a new staff member or trying a strategy that you're not real sure about, you know. Give me an example. It's, you know, hiring BDMs. So this is someone who goes out and looks for rental properties and signs them up.
Business development managers.
Yeah. Every time I've hired a BDM, I know I'm going to have to fork out a lot of money. I don't know if they're going to be good. I'm not sure if they're going to necessarily represent my business the way I want it to. So I've got to just try and control the variables that I can and just see, you know, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. You've just got to keep trying, keep moving forward, learning, applying the learning to the next situation.
And I've got the last question on here. What are some of the best practices for adjusting to change when it is required? I think we sort of covered that just then, is just make sure that mindset's there.
Make sure the mindset's there. Also, you can't like just magically come up with practices to adjust to change. Change happens. You don't choose. You just need to be in a position to you know, do what it takes when the change comes to you. So in business, our whole goal is to overcome the problems we face every day as business owners. It's different if you are working in a job. You're giving a set of specific problems to solve every day, which are usually quite repetitive, quite similar. But as a business owner, it's the random crazy challenges that come our way, market fluctuations, you know, crazy customers or good customers. You know, not every day is amazing. You've got to overcome those speed bumps, and you can't really have a key set of principles other than maintaining your integrity, you know, maintaining your reputation, always take the high road. You know, making sure that in a situation where your reputation could come into question, you sort that out. You make sure that people understand that in every situation you can be relied on. You know, you're the go-to guy, you're the stand-up guy, that if shit hits the fan, you can be trusted, you'll do the right thing. So for changes and how to be in a good space, just be a good person. You know, first and foremost, don't take the easy money, don't take the easy path, take the hard road. Hard road might be a hard conversation, you know, it might be footing the bill sometimes. You know, it's about maintaining your reputation and integrity, because long term, that's going to take you so much further.
Never compromise your morals.
Never compromise your morals, 100%.
It's from the second episode
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, awesome. All right. Well, I suppose to finish up,
Yeah.
this is probably a big one. What is the best piece of advice that you would leave someone who's looking to start a business right now?
In 2 sentences.
In 2 sentences. Yeah, sorry, I like to talk. The best piece of advice.
9 hours.
The best piece of advice I can give someone looking to start a business. You're capable of more than you think. Trust yourself, and you are going to underestimate how hard it's going to be, but that's okay. So that's it.
Damn.
I'm motivated now.
Yeah,
I'm sure
me
that
too.
motivated someone listening. That's awesome. Thank you so much for taking time
Thanks
out
for
of
having me.
your evening
No, it's good.
to come along. It's been awesome. I've learnt a lot.
I hope
I've
it was
said
helpful.
that. Yeah.
That was very motivated. I'm feeling more motivated.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
think I've said it at the end of every podcast. I've learnt something new about you.
Yeah.
100%. And I've been learning something new from each episode, which is awesome. So, no, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks Alex for coming on, and stream Day One Energy, guys, on all platforms. We have more guests coming. Sorry, Alex, we've got another one coming. But yeah,
Many.
we hope you got something out of today, and we look forward to seeing you in future episodes. See you next time.